Hello, everyone, and welcome into the hospitality room presented by Mascot Media. Bobby Swofford, Blair Cartwright with you, Mr. Swofford. How are you on this fine, lovely, sunny Thursday?
I'm good. I'm getting jazzed up. I'm going to go watch a little junior high football later tonight. Get to see my nephew's
Ooh,
game for the first time this season. Playing a little bit close to me, and so I don't have to make the full trip over to the Arkansas-Oklahoma border. But a little Van Buren Clarksville action tonight.
okay. I
Getting
was going to
fired
say,
up.
give him a shout out. Come
Yeah,
on. All
yeah.
right. Clarksville Panthers, Van Buren Pointers. Gotta love it. All right. Um, we got a big show. Big show. So let's just get right to it. Let's get to our talking points. The question America wants to know, sandwich or wrap when it comes to lunch, what's the better option? I thought about this the other day.
Ah, I'm a sandwich guy. I prefer sandwich, but a wrap has its place. It's not like we have to get rid of it.
Okay. If you're traveling, is there a preference? Because while we, we
Yeah.
no longer sit down for meals. We eat
Hmm.
while we drive. Handheld, I
Yeah,
believe it's the term in the food industry. Handheld product. So does that give wrap any more benefit than
for sure.
sandwich?
Yeah, I mean, it's just essentially turning everything into a burrito. I mean, it's all pretty much like breakfast is now a burrito. So wraps are the same thing. You're just turning a sandwich into a burrito. But yeah, if you're driving, the wrap or a burrito works a whole lot better.
Is it a taco, a wrap, or a burrito?
Uh, it's probably more of a wrap, but it's like it is a hot dog, a sandwich. And these are the
Yeah.
lifelong questions we don't know have an answer to.
Yeah, because if you fold the taco, then technically it does become a burrito, right?
But it's still open ended, so you got to fold the ends and wrap.
Yeah, but if you fold it over, which
Yeah.
sometimes I'm known to do from a Taco Bell run, then
Hmm.
I'm turning it into a mini burrito, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you have thoughts on it, email us. Hit us up on Twitter. These are the hard issues that we address.
Know we were
Whoops.
going this direction today, so here we
Yeah,
go.
well, I'm trying to keep you off guard. So that's my fault. All right. An actual topic. Wild card week baseball.
Mhm.
Wow. Did you watch any of the baseball so far this week? I have to admit I actually watched not a whole game, but I watched some, which is more than I've watched it all year.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I paid attention to the scores. I love to see that the Astros have been sent packing before the championship series for the first time in 7 years, which is a crazy
Yes.
run. But anytime Houston loses, I think we all win.
Yes. Now, an interesting note on that. Look at this. Josh Hader, $19 million in salary this year. The Tigers, entire 26-man roster, 18.8.
It's wild, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Eh, So money is not really the end all be all, is it?
Well, yeah. I mean, we figured that out for the last 25 years from the Yankees. I mean, who just goes out and continually spends hundreds of millions of dollars and doesn't result in anything. The Dodgers are obviously in that boat right now as well, but they've won a World Series a time or two in recent
Mm-hmm.
history. So yeah, you can't buy a championship. Nothing comes together like a well-oiled machine, and money has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing like teams like the Royals and the Tigers have success in the postseason, while teams like the Braves, who have a pretty high payroll, are essentially two and done. And we'll see you next year.
Yeah, everybody thinks money's always the answer, and it's not always the case. Well, speaking of money, Hunter Yurchek said, "Pony up if you want the slobber hog." This was the tweet. They posted a look at the floor with the outline, and said he's got a matching offer if they can raise another half million for NIL. They'll put the slobber hog on the court.
Yeah. So I've got a couple things on that. So one, kudos to whoever ponied up $500,000 for the NIL. Good for you.
Yes.
I guess you got some money. Two, that time window is not very big because I mean you see the date on it, that's only what 3 days from now, 4 days from now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
October 5th that they put on there and they put it up a couple days ago.
October 7th. Yeah.
So I mean, so that's only giving you like 5 days to come up with the money. So that's going to be a quick turnaround. Number three, love the idea. Everybody wants to talk about how much they need the slobbering hog. I want the slobbering hog. Now you can make it happen. Go write you a check and see what happens.
Here's the conspiracy theorist in me. What if they were going to do the slobber hog all along? Who's to
And that's
say
it.
whether or not they raised the money?
Mm-hmm.
Slobber hog's there. I don't know. Is this a good thing? It's like, okay, I get you need to do stuff to raise money for it, but then we
Mm-hmm.
are told basketball has the biggest NIL of anybody in the nation. Razorback basketball, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know that that money is going to be earmarked for basketball? Is it going to make its way over to football?
Yeah, I think that I took it as the NIL, the money was just going into the NIL pot because
Yeah,
I think we know basketball on the men's side is well taken care of. I thought it made a lot of sense. I love how Hunter Yurchek kind of pokes at the he obviously had a lot of fun with them when they went to Coke. They got rid of Pepsi finally, the Jeff Long monster that it was.
yeah.
So I like what Hunter Yurchek's doing, and yes, the picture saying that it's just nothing right now. So like they very well could be going back to the slobbering hog. I don't know if it would make a lot of sense with when you bring in Coach Cal. But if it's going to stir a little interest and get a little money flowing into the program, why not? Just lean into it.
Well, you're going to have to milk basketball for all it's worth to generate.
Yes.
What I don't understand is why is the slobber hog not on more merch that you can buy, like shirts and sweatshirts? I mean, that is
Mhm.
much more desirable than the infamous Jeff Long Nike front-facing logo. So,
Yeah. I honestly, I don't like to give him any credits for anything he does because I made the mistake of hiring him at Channel 5, and now he's the main guy at THV, and he's a total idiot on Twitter. I'm talking about Tyler Cass. He
yeah.
says if they don't come up with even the matching 500,000, they put the forward-facing hog at midcourt.
Ooh, that's cruel. That's
Yeah,
just extortion at that point,
yeah,
and we will not stand for that. So,
yeah,
I think there would be riots if that happened. Davante Adams once
yeah.
out of it, I guess tweeted something. The coach liked it, and now he's got to go. So where
Yeah.
does he take his in-house Taco Bell and his helmet and everything and head off to? Where do you think he ends up?
Yeah, I mean, the first spot you've got to talk about is the Jets. A reunion with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I know that's where they're probably the betting favorite. But you look at the receiving core for the Jets, and you've got a who's who of bums that played with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, and then Garrett Wilson. But you throw him on the other side, and maybe kind of gives a little revitalization to his career. So I'm going to say he ends up with the Jets, even though they don't have a ton of cap room. He's coming with a $13 million plus cap hit. I think the Jets only have 17 million room to spare right now. I heard New Orleans is a potential land, but I'm gonna give you a team right here that if he lands at this spot, look out because I think they're on the rise in a hurry. The Commanders. If you throw him with
Ooh,
Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin on the other side, that could be a scary trio for the Washington offense.
they say it's a second round pick and maybe some other stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're the Jets, listen to Cowherd this morning. I mean, he was all over the Jets have got to do it because for obvious reasons, and they've gone all in.
Hmm.
But there's some thought the Chiefs might be. I just don't
Yes.
see the Raiders. Are they desperate enough to trade him in division?
Because the Chargers would make a lot of sense too. And I thought the exact same thing. I don't see the Raiders unloading him in division. They may not even unload him in the conference, and that's why sending him to Washington makes a lot of sense because you at least you
Mm-hmm.
get him out of the AFC. But yeah, the Chargers make a ton of sense. The Chiefs make a whole lot of sense. The Jets, obviously, but you could throw a wrench into it and ship him to the NFC and not have to worry about him.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's listed. I guess he wouldn't. They're on a bye, I think, this week, or maybe
He's
not. But
out for
either,
this week. Yeah.
yeah, he's out with a hamstring, so it's not like you trade for him and you can expect him on Sunday to run a
Correct.
few routes. So does that? I wonder if that factors into it at all.
Well, I mean, we still have about a month till the trade deadline, so there could be a lot of things to figure out, and teams may be waiting to see how healthy he is. They may give it a week or two to see how long he's going to be on the shelf, or maybe he's kind of playing the hurt card. I can't play this week in hopes that he does get traded.
I've got to think he'd be popular in the locker room. He's got a Taco Bell in his house,
Oh,
right?
maybe so. That's his
Uh,
old house. That's the house in Vegas. He can't bring that with him.
ooh, yeah. I wonder how that's going to work out. All right. Let's get to it. We got a there some. I mean, some people say it's not going to be a great weekend of football. That's when it's always at its best. Let's get to the picks. We'll start first with college. Prime time on ABC. They bring the A team: Fowler, Rowe, and Herb Street. And Arkansas is a 13.5 point underdog.
Oh,
Prime time on ABC. That means everybody can get it. You don't have to have cable. That's good
yeah.
and bad.
I think this could be a very entertaining game for, let's call it 27 minutes. I think Tennessee's got far too much weaponry on offense for Arkansas to keep up, especially an offensive line that's really scuffling. I think this is a high game. I think that's all the over-unders in the 60s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I like then there would be a lot of points in this game. I'm going to take Tennessee to cover even though they're on the road, but I think there's plenty of fireworks to be had.
Okay. I'm going to take in a surprise. Tennessee will win, but Arkansas will cover because this is what Arkansas does. They, it's like the Oklahoma State game. They're going to do enough to stay in the game. The crowd will be jacked up, and then they'll lose in heartbreaking fashion.
Yeah,
I,
57.5 is what ESPN bet
ooh,
has. I think I saw.
really?
I think I was on the Oakland app earlier today. I thought I saw it was at 60. So
Wow.
maybe I misread it.
That
I think there's
surprises
gonna be some
me.
points. Yeah.
That surprises me. This could be a pretty good game. This is probably Missouri's toughest test under
Hmm.
Drinkowitz. At A&M, the whole deal with the sister and the brother, the quarterback and the girl on his staff, blah blah blah. Aggies favored, which surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, they're giving Cal Field a little too much credit with this. I like Missouri to win this one outright on the road. And just watching A&M up close and personal last week, they don't do anything that impresses you. Their defensive front, especially their ends, are very good. But Missouri's better up front than Arkansas was. So I think Missouri gets one on the road.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how A&M is going to outscore Missouri because Missouri can score. They've got weapons, so we'll see. This could be interesting. This is the ultimate trap game. Georgia hosting
Oh,
Auburn,
shit.
coming off the loss to Alabama. Auburn looked, better than they did against Oklahoma than they did against Arkansas, but then the bar wasn't real high. Does Georgia? Georgia will likely win, but do they cover?
The Auburn showed a little bit last week against Oklahoma. The offense may be starting to trend in the right direction. But when Georgia wants to play and they're not playing against Alabama, they've got a switch that they can flip. So I'm going to say this is close for a quarter and a half, maybe up until halftime. But I think Georgia pulls away. I don't like giving up 3+ touchdowns, but in this case, I'll do it. Georgia minus the points.
Okay, and there is rain in the forecast,
Hmm.
which could make it interesting. And the SEC is just nuts. So I will take Auburn and take the points. And
It's a good call there.
yeah, well, I deserve to get lucky every now and then. This is very intriguing now. Kiffin going to Columbia. Beamer still needs some kind of win, or he's probably toast. Getting 9 at home. How do the Kiffins bounce back?
Yeah, and this is one of those odd matchups, and like you see, South Carolina beats Kentucky, but Kentucky, does what they do against Ole Miss, and like you can kind of talk yourself in circles when you're looking at this matchup. But I think Ole Miss, after last week, will open it up a little more and get the offense going. I think Ole Miss wins this one. I think they win it big, actually.
Ooh, going big. I'll take cocky and take the points. Ole Miss may win, but I think it'll be a close one. Iowa in a game where the over under is actually in the 40s
Hmm.
at Ohio State, who everyone says, is probably the favorite, but yet the team no one has talked about one iota, giving
Yeah.
19 and a half at home against the offensive challenged Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Ohio State, they are kind of flying under the radar, and they have demolished everybody they've played, but they also haven't played anybody with a pulse. I mean, look at this schedule of Murderer's Row, if you will. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, and Michigan State. Like that's not exactly like just jumping out there top notch competition. So this is the first
Yeah.
test that Ohio State has faced, and because of that, I'm going to take Iowa and the points on the
Ooh.
road. I just think it's anytime, just like we saw with Ole Miss last week. Anytime you play a bunch of cupcakes to start the year and you finally face a decent team. I'm not saying Iowa's good, but a decent team. Sometimes you stumble. That's why I like the Hawkeyes.
Okay. I'll counter that. I'll go with the Buckeyes because they're at home. If it's at Carver Hawkeye in the pink visitor locker
Yeah,
room, maybe a different story. Another trap game, if you will.
hmm
Alabama coming off the high, beating Georgia, going to Vandy, who's got absolutely nothing to lose. 23 is a big number.
yeah. It could be 32. Doesn't matter. Alabama.
Bama, okay. For some, this is really going to, I think, tell us more about the DeBoer era at Alabama than last week. Is how do they handle these games? Because we know
hmm
what would happen with Saban. What does DeBoer? I'll take Vandy for some wild reason.
So based on these picks, like one of us is about to go undefeated, the other one's about to go winless.
Yeah, yeah, I could very well go Florida State on this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Florida State, Clemson comes calling to Tallahassee in the Seminole. Man, when was the last time the spread in this matchup was this big? Florida
Yeah.
State getting 14 and a half at home.
Yeah.
Ooh,
My boy Mike Norvell having to go to the backup quarterback. Lee Ungalole out for a couple of weeks with a broken finger in his hand, which probably explains a lot of their terrible passing game in the last few weeks. Clemson. And Clemson big. Florida State's in serious trouble.
I almost wonder if they're not better off with the backup quarterback
They may
because
be.
DJ
That's a good
because
point.
DJ's
Yeah.
been bad,
Yeah.
and yeah, ooh, this is tough. Give me Florida State. And then state our final one in the state of Florida. Yeah, Florida
Mm,
getting points at the Swamp
yeah.
against UCF.
Give me
Wow.
KJ and Gus in the run game. Billy Napier gets fired this weekend.
Ooh, so he's not going to make it out of Saturday night or Sunday.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning coming down.
This is
Napier.
going to be like one of those 11:45 Central Time, 12:45 Eastern Time news drops. NFL is about to start. Like, oh yeah, by the way, Florida fired their coach.
Wow. Well, and we have the London game this week, so they're going to have to get
That's
up
right.
early
Yeah.
and fire him. So yeah, that's going to be. Ooh, well, you heard it here first
hmm
on the hospitality room. And with that, we move to the NFL. Tonight on Prime Video, the Buccaneers and the Falcons, big division game. Falcons getting 7 at home. No,
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
big.
right. It's 2.5. Where I don't know where
Okay.
this line came from.
That sounds like a really big number. I was about to jump all over that one. I don't know if
Oh,
you're
it's
you're
because I
you're,
can't type. That's why.
you're if you're teasing it up on me there. I'll certainly take that. 2.5. I'll take Tampa Bay. I think they've got it rolling the short week. It's obviously a short road trip too. Tampa was at home last week, looked really good. I like the Buccaneers to keep it rolling.
Since I'm being the contrarian this week, I'll take the Falcons. Or actually, it's the Falcons giving two and oh, there we go. It's the Falcons
Yeah,
giving 2.5. So you'll
yeah.
take the points in the Bucks. I'll stay with the Falcons though, because you could very well could it be a field goal to win it though? Yeah, I'll stay with the Falcons. All right. I don't know what I'm doing this week. Jets Vikings. Now I'm shocked the line is not higher.
Yeah.
There's not a problem with the Jets and the Cadence. Sala and Rogers are going to be hanging out in pubs and eating fish and chips in London. Right. This seems low. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the London games, you never know. Having to fly across the ponds and get up early and play and the time change and all that. Minnesota has been very impressive all season long. The Jets fell flat on their face last week, and a lot of people are talking about Aaron Rodgers and Salah having this, you know, problem with their relationship or whatever you want to. I think this is a game in which the Jets win on the road, obviously in London, and they kind of it a little bit. Maybe trigger Davante Adams after this to really get the momentum rolling.
Wow. I'm going with the Vikings because I think Flores' defense is going to just shut the Jets down.
Yeah,
I mean, the
I can't believe
Broncos
I
did
picked
it
the
last
Jets.
week. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
we'll,
can't believe I picked the Jets. That hurts my heart a
yeah.
little bit.
Well, I can imagine. Yeah. It was, it could be a rough weekend for you, but
Hmm.
maybe not. Panthers at Bears. Panthers came back down to earth. Bears kind of slowly getting better. Williams is starting to get the hang of it. 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, but Chicago hasn't shown me enough offensively to think, okay, they're going to watch fireworks. I'm going to pick them here, even up to 3.5 points. But I think this game is close. Andy Dalton's playing fairly well for Carolina. There's not a lot of work with there.
So you're going Bears?
Going Bears.
I'm with you. I'm going to take the Bears as well. They burned me last week, and I'm not happy with them. Ravens at Bengals. Now the Bengals
Mm-hmm.
have been owned by the Ravens defense. Burrow has struggled 1-3, I think, in the last four, though they got a new DC. Bengals
Mm-hmm.
getting just 2.5 at home, and they need
Yeah,
a
I mean
win in a
Cincinnati.
bad way.
They do, and they know that time's kind of running out. They can't continue to fall farther and farther behind in the standings. It's very cool that Derrick Henry needs 18 yards and one touchdown to get 10,000 yards rushing and 100 touchdowns in his career. Obviously,
Wow.
he's going to be a Hall of Famer at one point. I think Cincinnati knows they need this game, but they get it done. But a little history watch for Baltimore.
Oh, so you go with the Bengals. I'll take the Ravens. I don't think Cincinnati can stop anybody. They don't have a defense.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't think Baltimore can do that 2 weeks in a row. They looked too good last week. They'll fall on their face.
okay. But if they do, oh my, that could be real scary. Bills Texans, this could be very intriguing. 1 point
Yeah.
game, I guess, because it's in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, Houston didn't look great last week against Jacksonville. Almost gave that game away. Buffalo looked obviously awful against Baltimore. You think Buffalo comes back? This is the old Stephon Diggs matchup here. I'm going to go Josh Allen. He just got named Conference Player of the Month in the AFC. I think I like the way he's playing. So him versus C.J. Stroud, I'll take Josh Allen.
Okay. I'll go with the Texans because I think Diggs plays out of his mind for this one and then disappears. But yeah, we'll see. Ooh, Colts, Jaguars. Oh, the
Yeah, big
Jaguars
win for the
actually
Colts last
favored.
week. Yeah, big win for the Colts over Pittsburgh last week. If Joe Flacco's playing, they got a chance to win this. If Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson is playing, they got no chance. But Jaguars are 0-4. I cannot see them falling to 0-5, so I'll take Jacksonville.
Okay, you're going with the Jags. Yeah, I wish we knew who was going to play quarterback for the Colts because Flacco's the best of the three.
Yeah.
Lawrence has missed a lot of go routes. Give me the Colts. Jacksonville may win. It may be a field goal. Ooh,
Oh,
but this is who you want
yeah.
if you're a Patriots fan, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You
You're
want to hear something
favored.
disgusting?
Tell
The
me.
over under 36.
Ooh, and it's not an Iowa game. Shocking.
Take the under, by the way. Um, I guess you have to go New England just because of how bad Miami has looked offensively this year. I mean, New England has been awful. They are getting two of their offensive linemen back this week, even though now David Andrews is probably out for the year. The starting center, the only decent lineman they had. Kendrick Bourne coming off IR, so maybe you get a little spark in the receivers. So I guess I'll take New England. I haven't had a lot of success picking the Patriots this year, but I mean, this is two monkeys in a football. You don't want to watch this.
I mean, just look at the quarterback matchup.
Yeah.
New England's got a huge edge.
They do. And honestly, if I'm New England, this is when you start Drake May. I mean, this is
Really?
now's the time. Yeah,
Okay.
you look too bad the last couple weeks not to.
Or let Brissett get a big lead and then put him in.
He ain't gonna get a big lead for anybody.
Oh, come on. It's the Dolphins. They're terrible. All right, so we'll both go with the Patriots there. Browns at Commanders. Commanders are on a roll. The Browns are,
Mm-hmm.
this close to being a tire fire on Lake Erie, and yet it's only a 3-point spread.
Yeah, Cleveland's offense has really struggled to score points, and that's the one thing that we've seen that Washington knows how to do. They're moving the football. I like what Washington's doing, and the fact that it's a field goal game is a little surprising. So I'll take the Commanders.
I'm with you. I'll take the Commanders as well. I mean, boy, that Deshaun Watson, that move's paying
Mm-hmm.
off big time. Raiders minus Davante Adams, we assume. At the Broncos, a good old-fashioned AFC West hate fest, and the
Yeah.
Broncos are favored.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Vegas looked pretty bad last week and still found a way to beat Cleveland. Their offense is certainly scuffling, but so's Denver. I mean, Denver scored 10 points last week, had 60 yards passing, and somehow won a game. I'll take Vegas.
Ooh, going with the Raiders. I'll take the Broncos because Peyton. Yeah, I mean Peyton won a game without throwing for a touchdown. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Cardinals need to rebound. Going to San Fran. Niners given 7.
Yeah, 49ers started to get a little bit healthy last week, and granted, England will do that for a lot of teams, but I liked how Purdy really pushed the ball down the field. They got a lead, and they didn't settle on it. They tried to blow the Patriots out, and they did. Because of that, I like San Francisco. I'll take Arizona to cover. Divisional games are always tough. Never like a more than a touchdown spread in matchups like that.
I'll take the 49ers because it's in San Francisco. I don't know why. I just have a hunch. This one's surprisingly close too. Packers at Rams. Rams getting just 3.
Yeah, I mean, you always got to question like how healthy is Jordan Love? I know they're 2-2. Um, you know, certainly looked better in the second half last week against Minnesota than did in the first half.
Yeah.
And because of that, you kind of want to lean towards Green Bay, even though they're going to be on the road. But there's going to be more Green Bay fans than there are Rams fans in SoFi. So I'll take the Packers.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Packers as well. Yeah, it's Rams' house, but it's always the opposing team's house.
Hmm.
Giants at Seattle. This is the biggest spread, or tied with the biggest spread of the week. Seattle giving 7 to the Giants.
Yeah, Seattle big. The long road trip, obviously, the Giants just haven't been great offensively in Seattle. I mean, they would have beat probably 30 other teams last week, but ran into Detroit, who's on fire. I like the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm with you. Give me the Seahawks. This is an intriguing Sunday night game. Cowboys at Steelers. Steelers given 2.5. And you got a
I'll
lot of
take the
injuries in
Cowboys.
Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah, you do, but I mean, Dak's still there. I mean, and they still. I mean, they don't have their back against the wall. I mean, they're 2-2, but they got to come out swinging. So I think this is a game the Cowboys know they need to win, and so I'll take them on the road. If this was in December, I'd probably go the other direction just because of the weather. But since
Okay.
weather's not going to be a factor, I think the Cowboys will win it on the road.
Okay. I'll go with the Steelers. I'll go with the home team, the Terrible Towels, and we shall see. Monday night, Chiefs hosting the Saints 5.5. We don't know who the receivers will be for Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, instead of throwing passes to his receivers, Patrick Mahomes is blowing out their ACLs, making tackles on interceptions. Um, I don't know. As long as Travis Kelsey and Andy Reid are still there, Patrick Mahomes is still going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Uh, New Orleans has certainly fallen off since that hot start of theirs, so I'll take Kansas City at home to cover.
Ooh. I think the Chiefs win, but it'll be by a field goal. So give me the Saints and the points. The Chiefs never. This is a typical Chiefs game. It's going to be. I'm going to be driven to drink, and I may not even make it to the fourth quarter. So they never cover. But
Yeah.
some great matchups this weekend. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to show you real quick and get your reaction to 22. Where is it? Look at this, the helmet that Western Kentucky's going to wear this weekend. How awesome is this in honor of Big
Yeah,
Red?
I like how some teams are leaning into the Hilltoppers doing that. I think Arkansas State's got a cartoon Red Wolf mascot they're going to wear on their side of their helmet at some point this year. Be weird. Why not lean into it?
All right, final word.
I've got a